my name is Michaela. For my New Year's resolution, my goal was to finally start video vlogging for my website, Cookin' Books. I finally am going to start doing that. I'm starting with my book reviews first, just because it's the easiest thing that I know how to do. It's also more comfortable for me because I've never done this before. So I wanted to kind of start doing the backlog of book reviews that I've done, and I'm just going to start going through and catch up on those. So the first book review that I did back in August of 2014 was The 100-Foot Journey by Richard Morais. I was extremely happy reading it during the first half. It was spicy, it was flavorful. I loved everything about it. But unfortunately, as time started going on in the book, my love for it started to disintegrate. The author didn't really give me what I wanted. It didn't make me want to take more out of the book. But in essence, The 100-Foot Journey was a book about a chef named Hassan Haji who moves to France with his family from India, and he becomes a budding young chef underneath the care of a Michelin-starred chef named Madame Mallory, who is 100 feet away from their new location in the French Alps. The three main characters in the book that you really kind of get a focus on was Hassan, his father Abbas, and Madame Mallory. At first, I liked Hassan. It was interesting to kind of see his development grow, but eventually it stopped. He just stopped growing. I found that to be really irritating because the majority of the book is supposed to be about this character, and he just fell flat to me. Another important character was Abbas, his father, who was extremely strong throughout the book. He didn't develop that much more, but he was interesting to follow. He always kind of added a little bit of a spice to dull sections as the book kept going forward. My favorite character was Madame Mallory. She was definitely feisty. I guess that's the French in her. But she seemed to be the only character that the author fully kind of enveloped in his embrace in terms of writing. She was the only one that had anything going for her in terms of character development. Most of the books I read, I love to have a strong character. And when you lose that throughout the book, it almost makes the reading go by so agonizingly slow. And that's unfortunately what started to happen. Hassan almost become more of an instrument as opposed to a chef in the way that his development continued. The last half of the book was really hard for me to get through. The author had a horrible execution of development due to his poorly chosen first-person narrative to third-person narrative. He should have just stuck to one, and he didn't, and it got really confusing because for one instance, you're going from first-person perspective to third-person, all within the same character. It's rather confusing, and I would have loved to have seen that fixed before it got published, but I know a lot of people love the book. This is just my opinion. In the end, I guess, The 100-Foot Journey was something that was really nice to read at first, and slowly throughout the book, it's almost like the whole writing just got dull and flat, as if the author didn't really care about finishing. There were some things that were touched upon that made sense, and eventually it just fell flat. It's definitely not a book I would read again, and I know a lot of people loved this book. It was a bestseller. It got made into a movie. I ended up going to see the movie. I recommend watching the movie instead, quite frankly. It is a lot easier to follow, and at least the characters are much better developed in that regard. So pick up the book if you want to try it. I'm I'm suggesting otherwise. You never know, though. One person's opinion is not necessarily that of someone else's. I gave it a 2.5-star rating out of 5. The majority of people were giving it between 3 and 5-star reviews. I cringed at even giving it 2.5. I would have given it less, but I did love the first half of the book, so I think it at least deserved that. But anyway, have a good one.